Hello everyone, I'm Super123 and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are going to see if we can beat Pokemon Ruby with only a single cast form. Cast form is a very interesting Pokemon as it has 70 across the board of all of its stats. It doesn't evolve, but it does have 4 separate forms it can change into. These forms being its normal form, sunny form, rainy form, and hail forms. It changes into these depending on the weather in the battle and can be very helpful or hindering in certain situations. Its move pool is quite lacking, but the TMs that it gets certainly makes up for it. Also, if you're getting a bit of deja vu while watching this video, I have uploaded it to another channel before, and this is going to be the channel specifically for gaming videos. But anyway, enjoy the video and let's get into the challenge. So before we start the run, here are the rules of the challenge. We can only use cast form in battle. We are allowed to catch other Pokemon for the uses of HMs like Strength and Surf, but they won't be used in any battles. No cheats or glitches will be used, so I won't be walking through walls or getting 999 rare candies. The final rule is no using items in battle. I'm not allowed to heal up cast form in battle with the likes of Hyper Potions or full heals, but it is allowed to use hold items like Mystic Water or Citrus Berries. So we took to the stage with our main character called Egg and jumped from the back of a moving truck and have to save the professor from the equivalent of a rabid dog. The first thing to do is pick our starter, which I have changed to cast form with the Universal Pokemon Randomizer. The rival will be taking Torchic since it evolves into Combuskin, which is part fighting type, and as cast form is a normal type, they're going to have the type advantage. Taking out the first battle with ease, and we add cast form to the team. Cast form has always been an odd design, and according to Bulbapedia it's based off a cloud or a weather balloon, but it looks like it has 2 different types of balloons, if you know what I mean. Our stats are looking pretty nice for this stage of the game, so I don't think the first section is going to be too much hassle. And of course we had to get a naughty nature. Its move pool is a bit lacking at the start with only having access to tackle, but it does get a lot of new moves at levels 10, 20 and 30. On said levels it's going to get a variety of different types of moves so that it can complement its weather forms. To back this up, cast form has access to a lot of really strong TM moves to make up for this lack of move pool. It gets access to the likes of Blizzard, Solar Beam, Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball. Backed up with its 70 base stats, it's a really competent mixed attacker, so it can make use of any move. Taking on our rival for the first time was a piece of cake as Torchic hardly lands any damage on cast form, not even getting us to half health, and we get 69 experience points. Nice. After beating the rival and backtracking to Little Route, we get access to Pokeballs which we can use to catch 5 Zigzagoon. Now I'm sure you're wondering, if this is a cast form only challenge, why are you catching 5 Zigzagoon? The reason for this collection of Zigzagoon is because of a little ability called Pickup. Zigzagoon has the ability to pick up, which means it can collect any item after battle if it features in it or not. In Emerald, these items that you collect are based on level and rarity, meaning the higher level you are, the better items you're going to get. However, in Ruby and Sapphire, this item list is only based on rarity, so a random level 2 Zigzagoon has the same chance of getting a rare candy or a King's Rock as a level 100 Zigzagoon. Zigzagoon is also a pretty good HM slave, learning most of the HMs you need to get through the game, so it's always good to have one on your team. And with our Weather Ball friend and her raccoon scavengers in tow, we have very little trouble in reaching the first main area of the game, Rustboro City. On our way to Rustboro, cast form reached the first level of note. At level 10 we get access to our first moves apart from tackle, being Water Gun, Ember and Powder Snow. All 40 base power moves, but pretty good for this stage in the game as they provide a lot of coverage against basically every type. And with the ability to use Water Gun and Powder Snow, we now have the perfect moves to face off against the first gym. My only plan for this gym was to spam Water Gun, and it makes light work of the gym trainers before we face off against the gym leader Roxanne. Geodude is a one-shot, but then Nosepass comes out to cause a few problems. It gets a critical hit right off the bat with Rock Tomb, and gets in a few more Rock Tombs to lower my speed and eventually outspeed me, before being healed up with a potion just as I'm about to get the knockout. All I have to do is keep going with Water Gun and soon the knockout is in sight yet again, but Roxanne uses another potion. At this point my health is really low and I'm fearing the worst, but on our final chances to attack, Nosepass missed its Rock Tomb, allowing cast form to sneak in with a final Water Gun and get us the victory in our first gym battle. It was a case of hit or miss deciding the battle, and luckily we never missed and got the first gym merge and moved on to the next gym. Our movements take us to Doofer Town and home of the second gym that I promptly skipped in order to perform the letter side quests and go to Slateport to do the Team Magma side quests, because the Doofer gym is a fighting type gym, which is the only type normal type cast form is weak against. Also, while I was in Dewford, I picked up the Sylph Scarf, which gives a boost to normal type moves, meaning that Tackle is going to be a slightly better move from now on. And now that we have reached level 20, we have access to some new moves, and this is where this idea takes shape. Or should I say, it takes a new form, as we now have access to Rain Dance, Sunny Day, and Hail. These moves will change the type of cast form for 5 turns, meaning you can get off some pretty good strategies depending on your opponent. This means not only will we not be weak against fighting anymore, but it gives a boost to our moves like Water Gun as they benefit from the same type attack bonus now. The only one I decided to learn was Rain Dance because I felt all my moves aside from Powder Snow were useful, and that the best type to change into was Water, as for most of the upcoming gyms and bosses we will have an advantage, especially against Team Magma. The only trade-off with this is that if I use Ember during the rain, then it will be weaker because rain stops fire. After taking out all the trainers north of Slateport, I decided to trek back to Dewford to test my luck against the gym. The gym trainers hardly left a scratch on me, so it's time for Brawly. This gym is normally quite difficult at this stage of the game, and with only one normal type this is going to be no exception, but I think using Rain Dance is going to be a cheat code for this battle. Machop is out first and we both set up on our first turns, Machop using Bulk Up to raise its attack and defense stats, and ourselves using Rain Dance to become a water type. The next few turns we used 2 water guns to take out Machop, not before it lowered our defense with Leer, making the next Pokemon Brawly sends out have an advantage due to our lowered defenses. Makuhita came out and I was fearing the worst, but a critical hit water gun hits and we knock it out in just one move and get the victory in the fastest of circumstances. I was not expecting this to go so well, so I got my badge and hightailed it out to another one of the harder battles in this game, the Route 110 fight against your rival. Notorious for being the killer of so many challenge runs in these games, but after that Brawly fight I was feeling so confident, so I went right into it. And as you can expect, it didn't really go to plan. So the plan was to almost beat the Whalmer, set up the rain before the Combuskin comes out, and then beat it with the rain set up for minimal fuss. Of course, I forgot that the rival carries a Shroomish, so with the rain up, I'm going to be weak to grass types, with my only good coverage being a normal type Tackle, and a Ember that would normally be super effective but isn't during the rain. CASTFORM also got paralysed and Shroomish was gaining health back with Mega Drain. When the rain weared off, she switched into Combuskin, so I set up another Rain Dance while Combuskin uses Focus Energy. The reason I used Rain Dance is to avoid massive damage from Double Kick, but it was all in vain as it got a critical hit and that was that. So, round 2 with a bit more knowledge and a bit less cockiness. Whalmer is sent out first again and I was just going guns blazing and knocking it out right away. Combuskin came out next, so I took the first time to set up the rain so that Double Kick isn't super effective. It still does a big chunk, but not as much as it would have without the rain. It goes down to 2 water guns. Now the biggest trouble, the Shroomish. We both missed our first attack, so it was basically wasting a turn of rain, and we go again and both hit. The rain wears off just in time so that we don't take super effective damage from Mega Drain, and that Ember can hit for a lot more damage, and it also leaves a burn on Shroomish as well. Shroomish keeps trying to heal, but one final Ember wins the matchup, and you see what happens when you use your brain and aren't really cocky. That is going to be the lesson to you today, kids. Up next for Egg and Mia Khalifa is the Marvel City Gym. Being an electric type gym, I'm going to be avoiding the Rain Dance technique for this one as it would put us at a major disadvantage. First attempt against Watson went well at first and then turned really sour. Knocking out the Magnemite with a critical hit Ember was the perfect start. Voltorb is up next and again with minimal fuss we knock it out with a tackle. Magneton is out last though and this thing was the worst. It set up paralysis and confusing, meaning I have an extremely slim chance to actually get an attack in, mixed with the 100% accuracy Shockwave and the fixed 20 damage of Sonic Boom, and I got my ass kicked by 3 Magnemites glued together. For my second attempt I gave CASTFORM a Cherry Berry, an edible item that removes the paralysis caused by moves like Thunder Wave, but that made my run go even worse. I didn't get a crit on the Magnemite, so it hits Thunder Wave right off the bat, which is promptly healed, and we get the knockout on the second Ember. Voltorb comes out and hits with Spark for a critical hit and then paralyzes me and self-destructs. Magneton then comes out with the easiest job in the world, and that was round 2 to Watson. I think it's time for a grinding session. In the grinding session we reached level 30 with CASTFORM and learned the move Weather Ball, its signature attack and a fairly interesting one as well. It changes type depending on the weather conditions, meaning it can either be normal, fire, ice, water or even rock type. CASTFORM doesn't have a special form for sandstorms, but Weather Ball can become rock if it's in a sandstorm. The main drawback of this move is it only has 50 base attack, but it can be used very smartly with the right weather setup. I learned it over Tackle since it's a stronger normal type move that I hope along with the leveling up will make the difference. Versus Watson, I feel in a better position this time. Ember on the Magma almost knocks it out, but the burn takes it down. Not before paralysing me, of course. Voltorb is out next and dies to a single Weather Ball. Now for that godforsaken Magneton. Bad start as it hits the Supersonic and we hit ourselves, but an Ember does hit as we do half damage, enough to knock it out in one more hit, but not enough to warrant Watson using a potion. We do land the next Ember through the status ailments, and we have at last beaten the electric type gym leader. This could have been easier if I had a combo of Sunny Day and Ember, but I felt Rain Dance would be more helpful against the next few bosses. It put me at a disadvantage, but we got there in the end. And guys, here is your annoying mid-video reminder to like and subscribe and leave a comment if you are enjoying the video. This lets me know that you want to see more Pokemon Challenge videos and more gaming videos from me in general. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled content. So after all that hassle, we then went on a long journey to Meteor Falls to face off against Team Magma, finding a ton of trainers on the way before coming all the way back to Mount Chimney to face off against Maxie, the boss of Team Magma. It was a sweep with Rain Dance and Weather Ball. It was completely easy. Speaking of sweeps with Rain Dance and Weather Ball, the 4th gym leader Flannery has Fire-type Pokemon. What a pushover. Normally that Torkoal is one of the worst Pokemon to fight because it's really good defense, coupled with Attract and Overheat, but with a Wet Mirror Cleaver it's a one-shot against the whole team, and we pick up the 4th gym badge with no trouble at all. Quick mental note, never say Wet Mirror Cleaver ever again. After the gym, I picked up the charcoal from the house next to the gym, an item that powers up fire-type moves in case we need it in the future. Now it's time for the 5th gym leader, Norman. This is also a very hard gym in a standard playthrough, much like quite a few we have faced already. First attempt didn't go too well. Slacking used Yawn and CASTFORM just slept for 500 years during the rain. After that I got off a fairly strong Weather Ball. CASTFORM took a lot of damage in that time, but it did knock out the Slacking. Right after that, the Vigoroth that he sent out just immediately got sent back to the Pokeball and fainted. But the final Slacking did take us out before we could mount any sort of challenge on it. Round 2 and I'm going with a Chesto Berry to wake me up from sleep, should it ever come to that. Starting with the rain setup, the Yawn Slacking used was basically a free turn with the Chesto Berry. A Weather Ball took it into red. Norman healed up, so I used one more and that was the first Slacking, went to sleep in a different way. Vigoroth was the same result as last time, coming out just to take a hit and faint. The final Slacking was on the battlefield and attempted a Focus Punch, which failed because of us using Weather Ball. Since I knew he was going to heal, I set up another Rain Dance as he tried the Focus Punch again and failed again. It was a 2-hit KO with Weather Ball, giving us the victory. Things are so much simpler when you don't sleep. Much like writing the script for this video, I wasn't sleeping when I probably should have been. Making videos is more important than my physical health anyway. And with that battle we've got our 5th badge and have also got access to Surf, which gives us access to basically everywhere in Hoenn, seeing as it's half water. It also means we have access to the abandoned ship area east of Dewford to get the TM for Ice Beam, which I am putting onto the moveset over Water Gun since Rain Dance Weather Ball is basically a better version of Water Gun. I also used some PP ups I got from the Horde of Scavengers to raise the PP of Weather Ball. It's not the first time Mia Khalifa's had a PP up, haha! Ice Beam is going to be really helpful against the next gym, but before that we have to clear the Weather Institute from Team Magma and save an imposter CASTFORM. We deposited the fake CASTFORM into the PC after stealing its Mystic Water, which raises the power of water type moves. Then we had a battle with a rival which doesn't really cause too many issues, it was a standard trainer battle and we were on our way. We then cleared out routes 118, 119, 120 and 121 of all the trainers, which takes far too long for me to do, and we are in a more than comfortable position to face up against the 6th gym leader, Flying type leader Winona. Her first Pokemon is Swallow, which goes down in one Ice Beam, no surprise there. Next is Pelipper, which uses Protect just to storm me out of Weather Ball. It tries to confuse me but to no avail and goes down to another Weather Ball. Skarmory is out third and we get in an initial Ember, but it lowers our accuracy with Sand Attack and we still land the Ember no problem, and that is the Metal Bird gone and done. Finally it is the Dragon Flying type Altaria. I missed my first Ice Beam and it sets up a Dragon Dance. A really scary move if it could set up with it, but it doesn't get a chance to get a boosted attack, as in a single Ice Beam we take out the Altaria with an easy victory with our Weather Ball friend, giving us the 6th badge in really simple circumstances yet again. Now it's time to face off with Team Magma and then fight the 7th gym, which is going to be a bit of an issue, but we'll get to that in a moment. For now we take Flying Egg from the storage, swapping out with my Twitter, at Super123, and fly to Lilycove to have the last battle with our rival. This is without a doubt the most underwhelming final rival battle in any Pokemon game. I'm not even going to commentate it, I'm just going to complain. Imagine how much more challenging this battle would be if the rival had their fully evolved starter, a Wailord, and they still have a Shroomish. It's not even a team of 6. Hell, it's not even a team of 5. This is an absolute joke of a battle, and one of the few downsides of my favourite Pokemon games in the entire series. But now it's Team Magma time, and we beat them at Mount Pyre, watch them jump into a submarine that is already underwater, and go to fight them at their Lilycove base. Infiltrating the Team Magma base is as easy as walking through the massive hole in the wall and battling all the grunts and admins. Absolutely no issues here. They make their getaway in the submarine, and we've got to get to that 7th gym to get the ability to dive and follow them. So the thing about this 7th gym is that the gym leader battle is a double battle, and you can't have a double battle with only one Pokemon in your team. And my other Pokemon like Zigzagoon would actually be able to do something in the battle, even if it is using Tackle for 1 HP damage or using Growl to lower their attack. So I've got to catch a Magikarp on the shore, bring it into the battle and only use Splash. Since Splash does nothing at all, it won't have any effect in the battle, meaning I won't feel like I'm cheating in any sort of way, leaving CASTFORM just to do its own thing. And its own thing it shall do, as we enter the battle against Solrock and Lunatone with a small ball weather thing and just some random fish. First time I set up the range since both Lunatone and Solrock are part rock type, and Magikarp just straight up dies. Solrock's flamethrower basically does nothing as it dies to a single weather ball. Lunatone does get in its own damage in with Psychic, but another weather ball gives us the easiest victory of the entire video. You thought Flannery and Winona were easy? Nah, double battles. This is simple. After the battle, I made a pit stop at Steven's house in Mossdeep to get the Dive HM. Then I went north to Shoal Cave to catch a Spheal so that I could teach Dive and Strength. Now it is time to fight a team that love the land. Under the sea? Team Magma are not even a threat to us at this point as we make it to the end of the seafloor cavern, awaken the Lord of the Continents Groudon, and then proceed to pummel Maxie into a pulp before finding out he is colorblind and tries to awaken a big red monster with a blue orb. And that makes the big red monster angry and makes everything too lit! So now our task is to fight Groudon and stop the world from flying too close to the sun because Groudon got woken up too early from his nap. We head to Sootopolis City via its secret underwater entrance and proceed to the Cave of Origin to fight off against the Box Legendary. We reach the bottom and start the battle where the sunlight shines down from the bottom of a dark cave that we have to use Flash in, but we soon make it rain in the cave instead, and that was easy. Next up is the final gym and the water-type gym leader Wallace. But before we go there, I went back to Morphle City to start a small side quest with Watson to get the TM for Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is a really strong and accurate electric type move, and since electric is strong against water, we're going to have a good time here. But before facing the gym leader, I'm going to purposely fail some ice puzzles and fight everyone who is trapped in his basement. And now it's time to face off against the kidnapper Wallace. He starts off with Love Disc, which is made out of paper and dies to one Thunderbolt. Clearly noticing my strategy, he sends out Wishcast, which is part ground type, so it's immune to Thunderbolt, so we have to use Ice Beam instead. It uses Amnesia to boost its special defense, which allows it to survive a second Ice Beam with the slimmest of health bars and heal up with a potion after setting up the rain and making us a water type. I used Weather Ball during the rain, hoping it does a bit more damage, and it does that and then some as it goes down in 2 hits. That's the main of my concerns to deal with. Celio and Seeking a 1-hit KOs to Thunderbolt as my Lotic comes out, survives on Thunderbolt and confuses CASTFORM. But CASTFORM pulls through and gets the knockout, earning us the final gym badge of the Hoenn region. Pretty anticlimactic, but whatever gets the job done. And now we are in the home stretch, the final trials before the Elite Four and Champion with only a CASTFORM. Before we do all the gubbins with the Elite Four, we have 2 tasks to complete. One of them is to give our hard-earned pennies to the gambling establishment in Morphle City so that we can get the TM for Flamethrower, a really strong fire-type attack that would definitely help us in the Elite Four. The second task is clearing out the 147 million trainers in the water routes to get as much experience as we can. Ending the endless grind against trainers with nothing but Wingull and Technical has us at level 66. Now we can finally enter the Victory Road after reaching Ariana Grande City, but it didn't stay for long as I wanted to use Flash to get through the cave easier, so I had to fly all the way back to Dewford, get Flash, catch an Abra, teach it Flash, and then fly back. So now we can get into the victory road, which wasn't much trouble at all. I only fainted once because of my reluctance to heal in between battles, thus I got knocked out, but carried on to the end of the cave to have our only major battle against Wally. You know Wally, the kid who got a routes at the start of the game and doesn't show up until now? His team has a lot of variety now and is fully evolved, but still wasn't any trouble to me. The worst of his Pokemon and his team to face was Magneton, but only because I haven't taught CASTFORM Flamethrower at this time. Everything else went down like a sack of rocks. But this challenge is almost at its finale as we have reached the Pokemon League building. This is the point before the Elite Four where I could pump all of the rare candies I got on my journey into CASTFORM, but seeing as we've already reached level 69 and the champion's highest level is level 58, I think we'll be okay. But then I've got to remember I'm also using just a CASTFORM and can't heal in battle. I really want to see what the lowest level I can do this challenge is at and not just power level up to 100, sweep the Elite Four, because that's not fun for anyone and not challenging at all. And yeah, I reached level 69 before the Elite Four. It was bound to happen, wasn't it? For the first member of the Elite Four, I decided to just go in guns blazing. Sydney is a dark type trainer and leads off with a Mightyena that has Intimidate. Luckily for us, none of our moves are physical based, so it has no effect on us. Mightyena got in a sand attack to lower our accuracy, but the rest of the team was a clean sweep. Absol does produce a bit of a scare when it got Sword Stance up and lived a few turns because of sand attack, but we took it out as it was nothing. Sharpedo, Cacturn, and Shiftry all went down in one hit. Phoebe is up next and uses Ghost type Pokemon, so I decided to just sack off Rain Dance and teach CASTFORM Shadow Ball. Ghost moves don't affect normal type Pokemon, so using Rain Dance to turn us into a water type would only be a hindrance. The battle really was a piece of cake due to us having two type advantages with our moves and our typing. Dusclops have the ability Pressure, which makes the power points of moves go down twice as fast, so I had to keep switching between Shadow Ball and my other moves to make sure I didn't use them all up in one go. This battle went a lot smoother than it ever has done for me. Normally I struggle with a Ghost team, but this time it was a-okay. The third member is Glacier and she has Ice type Pokemon, and most Ice types are part Water type, so Thunderbolt has its PP restored and I just had to mash the A button. Hail turned CASTFORM into an Ice type, so it made it that we take no damage from the hail and makes us resist Ice type moves. Great work there. And this battle was sponsored by the Thunderbolt TM as that's all I used, and yeah, easy win again. Drake is the final member with Dragon types, and of course I had to heal up the PP of Ice Beam and I spammed the A button yet again. It was a clean sweep. So that was a lot easier than expected. CASTFORM is actually really strong it seems, but now we have the final challenge of the game, the Pokemon League champion Steven. His team has 3 Steel types and 3 other random blokes thrown into the fray, with Steel being one of the types I have no coverage against. This is where I taught CASTFORM Flamethrower over Weather Ball, replacing our signature move that got us so far, but you know sometimes sentimentality cannot replace purposefulness as we jump right into the final battle. So here we go, no items, CASTFORM only versus the champion. He leads off with Skarmory, so I get into testing the new move Flamethrower, but Skarmory lives on its invisible Focus Sash and sets up spikes, which is useless as we only have one Pokemon in our team. Steven full restores only to live on that invisible Focus Sash yet again, but we do eventually get the knockout as he goes into Armaldo. I have no idea what one of my moves would be good against Armaldo, so I just chose Flamethrower and Ice Beam, both being neutral. I was hoping it didn't get any sort of boost from Ancient Power, which luckily it didn't, but it did take us down to about half health. Claydol is up next and Shadow Ball doesn't do enough and it gets in an Earthquake. Steven uses another full restore just to flex on us and we get another 2-turn knockout, but that Earthquake has done a lot of damage. Aggron is normally not too much of an issue just because I use Swamp in a lot of playthroughs, but despite 2 Flamethrowers being enough, we are only at 16 HP for the last 2 Pokemon. This won't end well unless I can get some incredible luck. Cradily comes out and we're hoping for either a critical hit or a freeze with Ice Beam, but that doesn't come and we fall on the second to last Pokemon of the game. So close but yet so far, and we're going to have to do a round 2. So after that crushing defeat in the final battle, we rare candied CASTFORM up to level 77 and set back on our journey to face the champion. Nothing in the Elite Four caused us any trouble much like last time, and since we're an even higher level with an optimized moveset, it was even easier than before. I equipped the Charcoal to CASTFORM over the Silk Scarf since we have no normal type moves and it will boost the power of fire moves, which is perfect for Steven's team, and now it's time to face off against him. Skarmory comes out first yet again and we go in for the Flamethrower right away with the Charcoal boost and it melts Skarmory in only one hit. Dream starts for our casty companion. Armaldo is out again and you take it out in 2 flamethrowers. It does get about 30 damage in with ancient power, but it doesn't get any stat boosts. Claydol comes out next. We immediately got the freeze in with Ice Beam, but then Steven healed with a full restore. We got it down to low health again with a Shadow Ball, and then he used another full restore, and eventually we defeated the big eye clay creature, and we move on to Aggron. Aggron lived with a little bit of health after initial flamethrower, and it got us to half health with Earthquake. Steven full restored it, but it eventually fainted yet again. Cradily is out next, the thing that ended us last time. An Ice Beam wasn't enough as it gets us down to about 100 HP with a Giga Drain, healing itself in the process. But healing itself was in vain as we knock it out and he is down to his last Pokemon, Metagross. Metagross is a tough Pokemon and a real hard hitter, so I wanted it out of the way to finish the challenge. Flamethrower connects to the monster, but it just misses the mark with the damage roll as Metagross survives in the red. Now Metagross gets a free hit onto us with Meteor Mash as we survive on just 21 HP. Heart in my mouth watching that health bar go down. Metagross does heal up a bit of health with the Citrus Berry, but with one last flamethrower, we do get the victory, and we have done it. The CASTFORM only challenge is complete as we are the new Pokemon champion of Hoenn with just this little ball creature. It is possible to beat Pokemon Ruby with just CASTFORM. What a journey this has been recording this video. It has been a long time in the making, but it's finally complete. CASTFORM has actually been a lot better than I thought it would be. Normally I brush it off as a gimmick Pokemon with the weather or just standard Pokédex filler, but after using it with its incredibly varied move pool and strategies, I might give it a go in my next playthrough. And that is the greatest thing about these challenges, they offer you a new perspective on Pokemon you may have never even considered. With that said, Mia Khalifa has officially conquered the Hoenn region, but for my next challenge I will be returning to Hoenn, at least in some capacity. You'll find out what that means in my next Pokemon challenge. And if you are excited for that, so remember to hit like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see some more Pokemon challenge videos and keep up to date with any other of my uploads. Also suggest new challenge ideas in the comment section or on my Twitter @Supery123. Thank you all for watching, I hope you've enjoyed and I'll see you in the next challenge.